Facebook Beacon Scandal second version. Hi, my name is Ricardo Sanchez, and I will talk about the Facebook Beacon Scandal. This is part of the Master in Cybersecurity. I divide the presentation in four parts. The first one is what is Facebook Beacons, the second one is the timeline of events, the third one is the main participants and the possible motivations, and the fourth one is the ethical point of view. What was Facebook Beacons? It was a marketing approach in which users recommend the products that they were interested to friends. Um, Basically, the Facebook tracked all the activity. On certain types, there were 44 sites at the beginning, and then it will post it on other users' timelines, well, news feeds. Um, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg was really excited. He called it a completely new way of advertising online. He told all the people gathering the Madison Avenue in the presentation that once in every 100 years, uh, everything changed in advertising, and that Facebook will be doing the changing this time. And the idea behind the beacon was, in general, very good. People will promote and recommend unpaid and what they like and what they have bought. It was a very good idea in general. So what's the problem? In the beginning, the system was on by default. It was a surprise for a lot of users, and you cannot opt out. After 1 or 2 months, they make the option of opting out, but it was very difficult, and the user said that it was hidden, so they really feel the spite. What is the timeline of the scandals? The beacon was launched in the November 6th of 2007 with 44 partner websites. In November 20, only 15 days afterwards, MoveOn.org, it's a civic action group that is mostly political, make a petition demanding that Facebook doesn't publish and doesn't collect and doesn't nothing all your personal data without explicit permission of the user. After 2 or 3 months, they have already collect 50,000 signs of other people. On November 30 of 2007, Coca-Cola withdrew the participation in Beacon. Coca-Cola, as we all know, it's very famous because with all the marketing expenses and that they have, so it was a big blow for Facebook. On December 5, Facebook announced that it will allow people to opt out of Bitcoin a lot of time afterwards. On August 12, a lawsuit was filed against Facebook and other companies that share personal information. The lawsuit was based on the Video and Privacy Protection Act. Essentially, it was about privacy. On September 21 of 2009, Facebook announced that it will shut down the service. So, as part of the lawsuit, they have to set up a 6 million fund to establish a non-profit foundation that promote the cause of online privacy. Who were the main participants and what are the possible motivations? Well, the first one obviously is Facebook as an organization. We have to understand a little bit about Facebook history and Facebook circumstances on that time. In October 24, only 10 days before the Facebook Beacon launch, Microsoft announced that it had purchased 1.6% of Facebook shares, spending $240 million. That make an overall valuation of $15 billion for Facebook. Well, but they put a condition that Facebook should start focusing more on making money. Why? Because Facebook was growing rapidly in users, but in 2007 they were still losing money, and a lot of money. They finished the year with a $138 million loss. It was a lot. Let's talk about the victims. As we saw in the class, when you have a scandal, one of the first things that you have to do is um, stop the people to getting angrier, or at least stop the quantity of people getting angry. In the case, this was very sensitive. For example, if you were buying some gift, or you were doing something private, buying condoms, looking about a pregnancy test or something like that, and they were sharing your information in Facebook, this can be very private and this can make people very angry. This is a huge scandal. But also people tend to overreact and almost never check if the story is real. So we have in one hand that there were a lot of privacy issues, but in the other, people tend to overreact. As an example, we have a lot of posts that say that when I put this post, people will Facebook will be forbidden to disclose, copy, distribute, give, or sell my information because everything that I have posted in Facebook is now of them, or that Facebook will charge $5.99 to keep subscription, but if you copy and paste this post, that will not happen. And then Facebook have to say, okay, while there may be watermarks, not all that you read in Facebook is true. Okay, let's talk about one of the landmark partners of Beacon. They saw when they were having problems with the Beacon and the scandal was starting to appear, that they were surprised. This make like a chain reaction. After Coke, vice president and everything opt out, Overstock, Travelocity and other landmark partners start to leave Coke. Let's talk about the plaintiffs, the guys that actually sue Coke. As you know, USA it's very famous with their stupid lawsuits that actually give them money. For example, I tripped over my own toddler in your furniture store and I broke my ankle. Now I want $780,000 and they actually won. I sue Red Bull because it didn't give me wings. $13 million. I spilled hot coffee on my lap and burned myself. 2 million, almost $3 million. I locked myself into your garage while robbing you and couldn't get out because you were on vacation. So we know that there's a lot of people involved that actually want money, and suing Facebook is one of the main reasons. Mark Zuckerberg, he have a lot of um, in stake in Facebook. Obviously, he was very young. He was part of a very big organization. He was the CEO, and a lot of people were investing in that. So he have a lot of stake. Um, we have to know that before that, something similar happened with the newsfeed, and Mark Zuckerberg posted something in Facebook that he was saying, "Okay, calm down, I hear you, but you will normally and afterwards love the newsfeed." I think that it's correct. We afterward love the newsfeed, but this make him a lot more cockier than he was. That's a big problem for him. The case of Steve Jobs was also ringing, I suppose, in his head because Steve Jobs was fired of his own company. Mark Zuckerberg didn't want to be fired of his own company. He have a 15 billion business that was not making money. So a lot in stake here. The MoveOn.org. This was a kind of a political organization of Democrats um, that they were founded when they're trying to impeach a president. After that, they were like um, calm or in silence for a long of time without having a big cause, and they were needing a big cause rapidly because the new elections of US were approaching and they went to have a lot of power by the time of the elections. So I think that they were not motivated by the privacy issue. They were motivated about they have to gain notoriety fast for the elections. So we know now that not all of the people involved in the Facebook Beacon scandal, they were actually concerned about their privacy. They have their own agendas, and that's why the scandal grew so fast and so rapidly.